not us talking about Glee like it's actually well written.
Hi and welcome back to White Noise. This is our first ever exclusive YouTube video to celebrate, or rather mourn, Glee leaving Netflix. We are watching the first ever episode again while having some drinks, kind of making a drinking game out of it, just kind of taking a trip down memory lane.
I think I'm excited. I feel like we have slightly different relationships with Glee just because I think you watched it a lot sooner than I did. So I don't know, it'd be interesting to watch together. I'm gonna get my drink ready actually because I'm gonna be having some shots just because maybe I'll need them. I don't know.
I've seen Glee many times, but the first episode still never fails to shock me. I think it's just like you go back and you realize it was like trying to be shocking even at the time, and now it just feels.
Do you think the first episode was?
Well, we'll see when we press play, but think about Sandy. That's all I'm gonna say.
True. True, actually, yeah. Okay, I may eat my words in a second, but Sandy. I think you might be. I think I'm going to be slightly shocked, and you're going to be slightly shocked for different reasons. Like because I have seen the first episode, not super recently, but probably more recently than you have. I don't think it's going to be as shocking as probably what you're remembering compared to the rest of the show. But you just reminding me of that stuff has made me realize that. Yeah, okay, maybe it was a bit more shocking than what I remember.
Yeah.
Is everybody ready?
I don't think anyone could be. Okay, right.
We're going for it. Already, I'm just thinking about the year that this came out.
I know. They're pretty intense for high school cheerleading too.
You know what though? I'm just realising that I think this was like, oh, there she is. I think I'm just realising that this was like my introduction into like American high schools.
See, this music is just giving super bad.
Oh, also just the first pause. But did we explain what we're drinking, when we're drinking, why we're drinking?
Oh no, yeah, good point.
So yeah, we're just gonna drink every time someone says Glee.
Because if we did any other rules, we'd just black out. So
pretty much. I mean, to be fair, just because it's the first episode, I feel like we might black out just from having to drink when they say Glee.
Will Schuester jump scare.
Oh god, she was a Spanish teacher.
It's awful. I'm already horrified. Rachel's face.
Since when are cheerleaders performers?
I'm just going to pause that because she's a bitch. Although Sue's an asshole, like they are still performers. Like she hates Sue, but she's just coming off as a dick to these teenagers.
Yeah, I think this is like the first step into just Glee being quite behind the times, even if it tried to be ahead of the times. It's a comment at the end of the day. I know it was a dig at Sue, but it was a comment on the students.
It also comes across as Emma just being a resentful little shit because she was never a cool kid. So she's like, fuck the cheerleaders. I genuinely reckon that's why she hates Sue so much.
Yeah, probably.
Your resentment is delicious.
Sue's an icon.
Cool. You know what? There's someone out there for everyone. I won't even sweat it.
First little bit where you see all the shit between Emma and Will.
Did you hear that Sandy Ryerson got fired?
Who's going to take over Glee Club?
They didn't even question why. He just immediately was like, who's going to captain the Glee Club?
I'd like to take over.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Priorities. Surely your first thought would be, why did they get fired?
yeah.
I feel invisible. That's why everyone.
I've just read they said Glee twice. Was Kurt universally liked?
No.
I can't sing, but I really don't like his voice.
No. Coloured jeans were like a menace on society.
Especially red ones, they were everywhere.
I'm pretty sure this was like the one thing they did where they didn't auto-tune them because they wanted it to sound like actual auditions. No, it was this scene when Finn's singing in the shower, which is a whole other thing, when Finn sings with them for the first time. And they're like some of the best bits in the entire show.
Some of the songs that they're singing now, the songs that they're like auditioned with for the roles.
Sounds about right.
Sense.
Because they suit their voices, don't they? So that would make sense.
And then they just got destroyed from here.
That is like the beginning of the inappropriateness of Glee as well. How all these teenagers are so sexualized. Like they're sexualizing themselves and
just
other
random
people.
Inappropriateness.
Yeah, just random moments. It's so like out of pocket. I love it.
Yeah. The thing is though, it's hard though, because I think this is just Glee as a whole, but it's really hard to say, oh, it's like one of my favorite shows or I really like Glee without going, but I acknowledge this, and this. Oh God, it just struck me that this was the beginning.
Yeah.
This is what led to everything else.
This is what led to American Horror Story fucking cult. This is what led to Evan Peters' blue hair.
The blue jeans led to the blue hair.
Hi, my name is Rachel Barry, and
she seems so cute here.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we should take a drink for every time I sigh. Yeah, I actually get what you mean, because she was just like, she was obviously meant to be annoying from the beginning and an overachiever. And also back then, no one knew.
The slushies are iconic though, like she deserved that one. As I got a little bit older and more aware, I guess how much that must fucking hurt.
They originally used like real slushies.
Also, I just want to throw in here, when it first came out, do you remember it didn't blow up straight away? There was like a mid-season break, and like E4 in the UK did like catch-ups, and everyone caught up. And then when the second part of season 1 started, fucking everyone was watching this shit. I remember watching those catch-ups with my dad during a holiday. Fuck me, did he hate Rachel? Yeah, he was like, oh, she's such an over-trier. And to be fair, he was right. So I can't blame him.
But he didn't know that at the time.
No, because we were watching all the first few episodes. I think how evil she is, even at the beginning. How she just throws people under the bus.
True. Was it this season where she sent sunshine to the crowd?
No, that was the first episode of season 2.
He was touching Hank, caressing him.
Oh yeah.
So
I love the headmaster.
Oh yeah, underappreciated character.
That's what I think Leah Michelle is like in real life.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
To this day, we don't know which one is my real dad, which I think.
Do you reckon she used herself for this character, or this character like destroyed her as a person?
I don't know.
This is just her life. This is just how she grew up.
This is like every theatre kid. Like, why does no one like me?
She is good though.
I'm gonna have to bleep this, but she was serving.
My God.
That was in a show now, people would be straight on Twitter posting screen caps. Like, these would be memes, like, please get sterilised.
Yeah. This is what I mean though. Like, I think, oh, this is so ridiculous. Like, this is just pure not understanding teenagers. But then, like, I think to bully in my school, and it's like...
I genuinely think the humour was, like, a bit ahead. Have you ever read about the age gaps between all the cats? Just looking at her there.
I was just thinking that, like, Glee and Grease really
Very nice, Rachel.
did not understand the assignment.
They're crap.
I know it's like obviously intentionally meant to be uncomfortable, but it's just so funny to think that like the majority of their performances feel like this, and this was meant to be on purpose.
Literally Leah Michelle.
You're sloppy, baby.
I can't remember if it was throughout the whole season, but I love that those little like bits with Sue were just they were always like a transition, and then they just stopped doing them.
Yeah.
It upsets me so much that these two dated.
In real life?
Yeah. Remember that whole storyline with like them being her like having a crush on him?
Yeah, when he sings like "Don't Stand So Close to Me."
They dated. This is why it because like they're not that their age gap is not that
big. They're like 3 years apart or something, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they dated.
Do you remember Heroes? 2 people in that dated, and they play an uncle and a niece. And the problem is then the chemistry comes through on screen. And it just makes the dynamic feel so weird.
That's all I can think about whenever they have moments like this.
My time with Glee.
Glee Club.
Oh yeah.
If we show it, regionals, Glee stays. If not,
Glee.
I wasn't even ready.
Bottoms up. Imagine if we'd done this for like Glee terminology. Regionals, sectionals.
Yeah, no, I don't want to die today.
Have you ever seen that episode of Community? Where they're like,
of course I've seen that episode.
We're going to regionals. Like, it's not even truly at that point yet, but I think it only takes like 3 episodes for them to just every other sentence be like, regionals, regionals, regionals.
Well, I hadn't, I like watched Community in its entirety before I watched Glee in its entirety. So like, it's a similar way to like how I watched Scary Movie before I watched Scream.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went into watching Glee with that already in my head. So whenever they said it, I thought it was fucking hilarious because I was just like, I just kept thinking about the Community episode.
A thread count, Mr.
This is working in service.
Getting out of that swirling eddy of despair, best thing that ever happened to me.
Me quitting McDonald's.
Me quitting insert generic supermarket name here.
Did they put you on medication?
Why does Will's hair look like an extension of him?
It's giving Justin Timberlake.
You're a drug dealer.
Oh, yeah.
Will's just mad because he's broke.
Will's just mad because his wife's about to fake a pregnancy. Again, this is another thing I can't remember if they continue doing, but like the a cappella
I love the music.
music.
They don't. They get rid of it later on. It's so upsetting.
I would even question whether or not they had changed like creators or directors.
It sounds so stupid, like something as simple as like transition music, but like that makes me Glee.
I can't see any of my guys want to join the Glee club.
Glee.
I'm not ready, Ken.
Because he watched Grey's Anatomy.
He's sweating like he's run a marathon.
You know what those say?
It's really nice how much you care about Glee.
Oh, she said Glee kids. Drink.
Oh.
If you really care about these kids, you'll leave well enough alone.
You do laps. Got it?
Every time he turns up, it's like a jump scare.
Oh, Puck, yeah.
It also just makes me sad seeing Corey Monteith, quite honestly.
Well, to be fair, that's the case for a couple of the characters.
It's quite like a tragic cast, quite honestly. Did they say Glee? I keep missing it.
I think I just needed to line up like a line of shots just to go.
You needed like two, so you could keep alternating.
Yeah.
You're a candle in
Oh God, not this scene.
This is so unhinged.
It really is. Like, I do you know what? I take back everything I said about this not being as inappropriate as you remember.
Thank you. It's not even good. I hate to say it. He's crap.
What was it? How would Simon Cowell put it? Very pub singer-ish.
See, this is uncomfortable. He's like walking up towards a teenage boy in the shower and he's saying, I just remembered why I wanted to do this in the first place. It's like, I wouldn't use those words. Why are you doing what you're doing?
See, I have to assume that that was the whole joke because like they could have done it in a way where like he could have heard him through like a ventilation system or whatever like this.
I genuinely don't think Ryan Murphy and Brad Falchuk like realise what they're writing half the time.
You want to tell me how long you've had a drug problem?
I don't even know.
Just looks like a grown man.
You could land in prison, son.
Oh my god. Please, don't tell my mom.
Those are the best moments in Glee. Like the random zoom ins and the cuts and like, I just can't.
I feel like half of the enjoyment of Glee is like the background.
See, this is an example of him doing it for himself.
It's all for himself. When does he ever do anything for these kids?
Darren was good to her.
Oh, this is iconic.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have like the 80s rock in Glee. The early Glee. Little Kid has a good ass voice, to be fair. That Canadian tuxedo. When her and Kurt's dad get together, that's probably one of my favourite little like story arcs in Glee.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I think it's good. And it's an interesting way to bring like two of the characters together other than like a really obvious, especially because obviously of Kurt's sexuality, they could have gone really fucking obvious and just had Finn had a moment where he was questioning and then they could have had a storyline that way. But it was an interesting way to put them together.
Yeah, and it really confronted Finn's prejudices.
I was
He's
just
supposed to be like the hero of the story.
Yeah, and a likable side of Finn. Not us talking about Glee like it's actually well written.
What's the other option, Mr. Shue?
Join Glee.
The abuse of power in this situation.
That side eye. She's trying way too hard here. Like, it is not that serious.
You could say that for every scene that she's in.
I'm Beyonce. I ain't no Kelly Rowland.
And that ends up being how she feels the rest of the show.
See, that's another thing that like there's some weird storylines that they introduce and then never like overcome, and this is one of them, like about Rachel always getting the solos. Like I think there's one episode where Mr. Shue is trying to like teach her a lesson, so he takes away the solo from her. But
she gets it anyway, doesn't she?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Other than that, it just like never gets addressed.
And in this one episode where they bring up that one of the guys in the Glee club never talks, it's like the show is aware of its faults, but then it never does anything to correct them.
Which makes it worse than if it was just because some people say like, oh, Glee is just a product of its time, and yeah, obviously in some regards it is because it came out like over 11 years ago now. Especially in the later seasons, it makes comments on how problematic it was, and then it never does anything about it. So it's like, so you knew what you were doing.
I don't get how hard it is to just like make a tiny little change. It's not that hard, unless it was because of egos in the cast.
Egos in the cast, egos in the writing room. You can't make a show like Glee and not have an entire production of just massive egos.
Extra shift at work, Will. We're living paycheck to paycheck.
Is it bad that Will was more likable when Terry was still in the picture?
No, genuinely, as soon as you remove Terry, you realise he is an asshole. And like, I'm not saying she's okay and normal, but you could see where some of her frustration comes from. Like, he pays no attention to her. He's clearly flirting with one of the women at work, and he's just putting all his energy into these teenagers. It's not a bad thing, but she knows why he's doing it. She knows it's because he's reliving his glory days. It's like not for good reasons. It can't excuse it, but you can understand it, like some of her anger, but not the other shit, like faking a pregnancy.
It is not a bad thing to want things.
They've got so much shit though.
They have so much shit? I think she has so much shit.
It's your way of recapturing your glory days.
She's not wrong.
I think she says that in episode 1.
And it carries on for 6 seasons. Okay, I'm just going to take a shot simply for the fact that I don't know why, but this first episode always feels like 2 hours long.
It's pilots for you though.
But like the storyline of this first episode feels like it could have been the storyline for the first season. And I mean, I'm not mad about it because it would have been a pretty boring first season, but it's just really, they cram so much into one.
I think they do a good job, but it does feel like so much in one episode and it didn't need to be.
We had to have her prostate.
Teenage boys being dumb as fuck.
You stole my quarterback.
They're literally arguing over a teenage boy.
But then, like, this isn't a drag on teachers at all, but when it is your whole life, I guess, like, I've never been a teacher, so I couldn't say for sure, but I can imagine something that you do all day, you know, you would just make it your whole kind of thing.
Or I tell you I'm suffering from cluster headaches.
I'm going to use them.
Nighttime, those things.
I'm allergic to nighttime.
How do I get you into my hatch?
This is funny, but like, Ken, no means no.
Not the toxic masculinity.
Glee was built on toxic masculinity.
Thanks for putting a good word in for me with Emma, buddy. I guess you...
He's just calling him as he sees him.
We all know Will Schuester is shit.
I think the rest of the team expects us to become an item.
The confidence.
Yeah, but it works. This is the thing. Like, she gets the guy.
That just sounds like the producers talking, like me. With the hot male lead, it's like they obviously set them up as a PR relationship in the beginning. Like, I genuinely think they were a PR relationship and then they ended up genuinely caring for each other. That's like the basis of... Have you ever heard of like the shipping between Leah Michelle and Diana Agron? Yeah, and how it's like rumored they were a thing and like all that.
The show even addresses it. Like, I don't know if you ever finally got around to it, but in season 6, Rachel's like trying to track down one of the new Glee members. She's trying to get them to join the club again. And the character makes a comment saying like, oh, if you're going to have like a lesbian story with someone, I think everyone's rooting for you and Quinn for Bray. It's just so uncomfortable. This is like Riverdale level of uncomfortable. With Riverdale, they try and make it sexy, which is uncomfortable. But with Glee, they did try and do the awkward teenage thing.
Can give Glee that at least. Like, it wasn't trying to pull a Euphoria or like Gossip Girl or 90210. Like, it was like kids are awkward, like simple as.
I feel like, okay, all of these actors are way too old to be playing teenagers, but I guess at least they tried to make them seem like teenagers.
Yeah, my wife's allergic to nuts.
Oh no, she's allergic to nuts. Like, I can't believe she'd do that.
What's worse, that she's allergic to nuts or that she faked a pregnancy? Might have to do a Twitter poll to decide.
I mean, she was my first girlfriend, actually.
Only girlfriend.
I don't know, she used to be filled with so much joy.
Not the trauma dumping. This is iconic.
This isn't vocal adrenaline, is it? It's someone else.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
This is vocal adrenaline.
Jonathan Groff is so good in this show. Can we just mention this?
It also upsets me so much, though, that you've not seen the last season.
Why?
Because that's who Rachel ends up with.
What, Mr. Jonathan Groff?
Yeah, after everything, he just comes back and they're together.
I'm sorry. I couldn't date someone who egged me.
It's watching moments like this that I remember why I did like Glee so much.
I'm sorry, but that woman looks 40. Well, not 40, that's mean. 27.
Yeah, but in Glee years, 27 is 40.
They're so good.
How did New Directions ever win against them?
It's just bullshit, really.
Really is. Like, they were just the elites. It's the first time that a song's been performing that I've actually wanted to dance.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as it's not New Directions. Imagine being a kid, like one of the New Directions kids sat in the crowd watching that. You'd just like throw the towel in. I just thought, I give up.
Yeah,
like,
I would quit.
I'm not going to embarrass myself. I know the whole point of the show is like never give up, but I would have given up 100%.
Yeah. It's a great message we're really sending out.
Chicks don't have prostates.
School really failed him.
School failed me, so I'm not surprised. The most delicate paintball pellets I've ever seen in my life.
I'm pregnant.
So here's some alcohol.
He's like, fuck no.
I've given my 2 weeks notice.
2 weeks as a teacher, fuck off.
Yeah, I had to give a month's notice at my job.
Because we can work harder. This isn't fair.
See, this is what I mean. This feels like a penultimate episode to a season.
Yeah, this should have been the mid-season break, shouldn't it?
Being an adult is about having to make difficult choices. It's not like high school.
I would actually like to disagree. I do think adult life is quite a lot like high school. The first lie that Glee ever told me.
All my bags are packed.
Warning, emotional.
Oh no. At least he's not rapping.
I mean, every moment that he's not rapping, I'm thanking God.
Every moment he's not rapping, I actually believe in God.
Him here, it's like so obvious he's thinking of himself as like a Johnny Cash, Bruce Springsteen type, and it's like, dude, just let it go. I do find it funny though, they've picked a guy that like, he's all right, he's not an amazing singer, because that works so much better for his character. Like, if he was an amazing singer, you'd just like be like, well, why isn't he big?
I don't think that was done intentionally.
This is just fucking boring.
I heard he's having a baby.
I feel like it's scenes like this that just make you remember how juvenile Glee really is.
Yeah.
Like in some aspects it worked, but in others it didn't. Just like they tried to have the kids and the adults in it have the same
like parallels.
problems.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
No. It could work if you had like a similar theme, but you show how it's different for adults and teenagers, but they don't. It works like when he's worried about Terry being pregnant and then Finn's worried about Quinn being pregnant. That works well.
That's literally what I was just gonna say. Yeah, that's the only time where I think they might kind of do it right, but then again it's kind of ruined by the fact that obviously Terry's not really
real.
pregnant.
Yeah,
Counting is sexy.
that is so inappropriate on so many levels. Like, can you imagine being married to someone and you're in the room and you see that happen? You'd fucking flip your lid.
See, as much as I do not agree with Terry's actions, a part of me wonders if, like, because we never saw their relationship prior to this, did Will maybe turn her into the monster she became? No, I'm not saying I'm team Terry, but I'm also definitely not team Will.
Hi, Finn. RuPaul.
I don't remember that. Why did she say that? Why did she say that? I don't get it. Am I missing something?
Aww.
The background music.
I can't do Glee anymore.
Glee
It conflicts with
Your reputation?
No.
You've really got something, Finn, and you're throwing it away.
This is evil.
It is, but it's so accurate to what if like portaloos were a thing in English schools. Actually, are they a thing in American schools? Why is this a thing?
So what? Are you quitting to join Homo Explosion?
Why didn't they call it that? That's amazing.
That could have been the actual stage name.
I might make that my like writing name. Do you remember what Glee did for this song though?
It's insane.
How it like soared through the charts when it came out.
Such a good song though.
If Glee was made today, what song do you think would have been put in its place?
That's really difficult.
I'm thinking currently Easy on Me, Adele.
No. Oh, that's really hard. That's a
I don't
really
know what
good question.
song. Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, the song that they picked isn't like it was a song from
The problem is, it has to be like it has to be like a stadium filler. Like that's the point of the song, isn't it? Like it feels bigger than life.
Thing is, though, and this is making me sad to think about, but music doesn't quite mean as much as it did back then. Do you get what I'm saying?
How do you
like
mean?
It does to. Well, it does to certain people, but I mean, like now, well, I guess it's just because now everyone's in Glee Club. You know what I mean? There isn't a Glee Club, which is good. It's a good thing.
What you mean, like a specific group of people that devote all their time
there
and
are
energy?
Like there's more safe spaces now. There's more mixing of like different groups of people. So I guess it would be difficult to pick.
I get what you mean in that like it's intimate in a different way. So like it's like the same kind of thing as like echo chambers and more like niche communities. It's like everyone has like specific music which is important to them. But I think if I'm right, what you mean is that like in this era, it's like if you just loved music, it was like you joined Glee. Okay, I get what you mean.
yeah, it seemed like even having a love for music was a weird thing, which, to be fair, if you think about when we were at school, it was like, yeah, okay, because we loved emo music, it was strange, but like, yeah, just having a passion for anything was fucking weird.
But then I think that's kind of what this is getting at, because like, yeah, this is focused on the Glee kids. There's probably other kids in that school that get bullied for having passions, and that's part of being in a small town, which is like we said earlier, it's like all this fucking show goes on about in the first few episodes.
I've been doing them since preschool.
I like how this is meant to be a small town, but they still have like a good stage.
This is like the richest small town I've ever seen. Like our stage at secondary school, the curtains had holes in them.
We'll figure something out for you.
And what are you bringing to the table, Justin Timberlake?
He really does have that like boy next door look, doesn't he?
I can't lie, the casting in this is pretty good.
Oh, it's fucking amazing.
Do you know who that is?
Like, he didn't know.
That was the greatest moment of my life.
That's fucking sad. Like, he's literally married. He's found out his wife's having a baby, and that was the happiest day of his life.
Yeah. I know people do it, and I really hope those people who have done it are happy, but I can't imagine teaching at the school I went to. There's just something else about, I mean, I don't know if it's because I've always been that kind of person that's really wanting to move away from their hometown, but I just can't imagine anything worse.
For some people, it is a cute thing, like wanting to give back. But for him, it's just, I want to recreate it, so I'm going to stay in the closest proximity I can. Like, I'm going to teach at my school and not for good reasons. I'm going to stay with my high school girlfriend and not for good reasons. Like, there are plenty of people that do the same things as him and make the same decisions, but he does not make them for the same reasons as them.
You're totally right. His is just selfish. It's just pure selfish.
But provide what exactly? The understanding that money is the most important thing? Or the idea that...
I get this, but at the same time, like, we live in the real world. Like, I'm not happy about it, but like, someone's got to fucking pay bills.
Just an example of Glee not being in touch with reality. Iconic.
It's probably still to this day the best thing they did.
It is a moment in history.
Like, his voice works so well in this song. Like, yeah,
also,
it's like scrambled by a computer, but still.
I'm sure a lot of people are the same, but this is the first time I ever heard this song. This bitch already in love.
It's kind of shit that all the other characters are just like ba ba the whole song.
Well, it was setting them up, wasn't it?
He just like walks away from the drums again in a sec. The logistics of the show are actually hilarious.
Look, when you have the power of Glee, you don't need logistics. Yeah, can't lie. I'm feeling it a little bit.
This song definitely nailed the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I want to keep watching.
It does feel like a season finale though, doesn't it?
Yeah, look, everyone turning away and shit. It's so good.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's theatrical, but that's the point.
We need a 10.
Why is he just walking in like this? Like, he did nothing towards that performance.
They're probably better without him.
From the top.
A moment.
Amazing.
We'll go into this a lot more, I think, in the podcast, because there's a lot to unpack, but just rewatching it again, it was really a moment in history. Like,
it would never get big in a different moment in time. Not earlier, not later. Like, that would definitely not get big today. But overall, amazing. I still love it. Like, I hate to say it. And it definitely makes me look like a bit of a millennial, but I do love it.
Thing is, though, with the first episode, you can definitely say without a doubt, like, that you loved it because, it did have slightly problematic moments, but they were more a sign of the times, whereas the rest of Glee was something else. But yeah, if you want to hear about that, then you'll have to tune in to the actual podcast episode where we'll unpack a bit more. Yeah,
we'll be talking about Glee as an entity, its impact, the show itself, its run, its characters, the actors, not just like a singular episode. So if you're interested in hearing our thoughts about Glee itself, then definitely check that out, and we'll link it, probably be linked above or in the bio somewhere. It will be linked. If you want to see more episodes kind of like this where we just kind of watch stuff, and we'd definitely be up for it because it's just fun to relive things sometimes. Especially going back to the beginning. I've quite enjoyed going back to the beginning of something. And if you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe. It feels very weird saying that. Don't know if I've ever said that before on this. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you soon. So, bye.